Dede, you're named Bolitnikoff semifinalist this morning. Did you know that?
Yes, I kind of seen it on Twitter when Mike posted it.
What's that mean to you just in the long-term scheme of things? I know that's probably a goal that a wide receiver has coming into a season, but what's that mean right now?
It means a lot to me. You know, growing up in a small town, you've always dreamed big, but at the end of the day, like, what are the odds? You know, and coming into the season, one of my goals was to be the best receiver in the country, and to see that I'm one step closer to where I want to be is pretty impressive, and I'm proud of myself, but I'm not done yet.
How are teams changing the way they cover you as the season progresses?
I mean, I've seen a lot of two men this past week with Baylor. You know, they had the cornerback over me and the safety over the top of me. But at the end of the day, we're going to continue to do what we do best, and that's execute our offense.
Can you describe that touchdown where you tiptoed the sideline and explain how there's no way you went out of bounds? I mean, it looked physically impossible what you did.
I mean, as I was tiptoeing the sideline, I was pretty much looking down at every step that I was taking. And whenever I crossed the goal line, I jumped up in excitement because I knew for a fact that I was in, and I just wanted to see if the ref saw the same thing that I saw, and he clearly did. And for them not to even review it, I mean, that was pretty good.
You said the other day that you don't really go back and look at those things. Have you watched that one though?
Oh yes, I have. I had to. Because I was so sure about not being out of bounds, and I wanted to see how close was the call. Yeah. And it was pretty close.
What did you think about just seeing how you were able to maneuver your body to stay in bounds? Because like John said, looked almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, way earlier in the year, they come from dodging rocks at my grandma's house. So that's pretty much where it comes from. When you're in the country, you just do all type of crazy things, and it showed Saturday.
You know, you talked about getting two-man coverage, and how much did that help you last year as a wide receiver when Sterling was getting that much attention? How much did that open things up for you, and can it do the same for the guys these next two games?
I mean, being double covered, you know, we have like a lot of receivers, a lot of guys that can step up and make plays at any time. You guys have been seeing that week in and week out. And them doubling me, you got Jeffrey Meade and, of course, Mark Andrews and Geno Lewis. And those guys are going to step up and make plays, you know. And so it's going to be hard for anyone to try to double cover me whenever you have other weapons besides myself.
Last year, did it help you, though, when Sterling was commanding so much double coverage?
Oh, yes. It helped a lot. It helped the offense a lot.
How much did having Joe and Samaje back on Saturday help open up some spots in the passing game?
It helped a lot. You know, Samaje, he's a bully out on the football field, and he's going to bully his way through things. And then you have Joe, that's a bit more elusive, and of course you have to contain those guys. And you know, Baker can leave the pocket just as well, and so it just opened up all the passing lanes for us.
I think people expected you to have a really good season, but I think maybe this is a little beyond maybe even what folks expected. How did you develop that rapport? Because Mayfield had this with Sterling last year, but then he shifts and he has it with you. How did you guys develop the rapport to this level?
Well, to begin, Sterling is like a big brother to me, and I was with him every day, you know, whenever he was here. And so he taught me some of the things, you know, that he knew and what he's learned from his years of being here, and I just stayed tucked underneath him. And so everything that I do is pretty much an imitation of what he's already done, you know, and so I just added my own game to it, and so that's what's caused me to elevate the way that I have.
When you're getting the attention you get from whether it's double coverage or just an opposing defensive coordinator game planning around you, how does a receiver beat that attention? What's the key?
I guess run precise routes. You know, you have to be great at every aspect of it, and the thing that gets you open, of course, speed, it helps a lot, but you have to run a precise route, you know, and them double covering me, that's fine, you know, we'll take that, but we're just going to have Mark Andrews and Geno Lewis and Jeffrey Meade make big plays on the other side of the field, which is going to open everything up again.
How much better of a route runner are you now than you were either when you got here or a year ago last season?
A lot better route runner. Like I was just saying a few minutes ago, I've never really had an official receiver coach, you know, ever. Like in high school, my receiver coach like played D-line, you know, when he was in high school, and then going over to the junior college level, my receiver coach was my offensive coordinator, which he played quarterback, you know, in college. And coming here, Coach Dennis Simmons is my first receiver coach, you know, and he's helped me a lot with my route running ability, and that's something that I needed to improve on, and that's why I stuck around Sterling so much.
Dede, how about this chemistry on offense right now. It seems like you guys are always having a lot of fun, whether it's pregame warm-ups or scoring touchdowns. What's it like on this team?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's football. We've all been playing it since we were little kids, but you must have fun, and in order to be great, you must have fun while doing so, and it's going to be some moments to remember.
You just kind of brought it up. Your route coming here is a lot different than some other guys. Your first real receiver coach went through junior college, played at a small town. Do you ever kind of reflect on that based on the way this season's going?
Yes, most definitely. Like said, Coach Dennis Simmons and Sterling both played a huge part, in me becoming the player that I am, and all I needed was my confidence level up, and now that it is where it is, I'm doing pretty good for myself.
Dede, you talked about Jeffrey Mead a couple of times. I think a lot of us sort of wrote him off after the way the season started. What's been the biggest difference for him that you've seen the last couple of games?
Confidence. Whenever he made that play against Iowa State, I felt that was a huge confidence booster for himself. And, he went out there and made pretty much like a one-hand catch this past week, in third down, I believe, to get us the first down to move the chains. It's all about confidence. Anyone can play at this level. It's all a mentality.
The program's won 10 straight road games, true road games. I don't think you've lost in an opposing stadium. Is there a fine line between being overconfident but having just the right amount of swagger when you go into a big game like Saturday night?
Yeah, it's just like you said, just having a swagger, and at the end of the day, West Virginia is a really good team. You can tell by their record, and if you cut the film on and watch them, they're a really good football team. But at the end of the day, we have to worry about ourselves, and we have to continue to do what we've been doing, and that's executing plays and running our offense.
Were you impressed with the way your team handled itself against Baylor Saturday? It seemed like they were trying to kind of push things a little bit, but you guys didn't retaliate, no silly penalties or anything like that?
Because we knew coming in, we knew the type of team that Baylor is, and we knew that they were going to talk to us and try to get us off our game, but it was up to us to hold our composure.
Can you give some details on the rock fights?
Well, the thing is, out in the country, my grandmother's mailbox was across the highway, and so her driveway was like a rock driveway, and so what we'll do, we'll get on her front porch, and first off, we'll see who had the best accuracy, and so we'll pick up a few rocks, put them in our pocket, and just launch them across the street and see who can make it into the mailbox. We like rip the opening of the mailbox off and try to see who can make it into the mailbox, and you always hear her yelling out the window, y'all guys need to cut it out, but there's nothing to do out there, and then that's when pretty much rock wars got started.
How many kids were typically involved? Was it the neighborhood? Was it just family?
Oh, when you say it was just family. Where my grandmother stays is probably not a house near 8 miles away from us, so it's just us by ourselves, and so we had to make fun. So we made traps, booby traps, to try to catch raccoons, different things of that nature.
Did they lose any teeth or anything like that with the rock fights?
No, but I have lost a tooth though.
But not in a rock fight?
Yeah, not in a rock fight, thank God.
Who did you admire as a wide receiver? Like as a kid, who did you look at as somebody that you wanted to emulate?
As a kid growing up, my favorite wide receiver was Mike Wallace. My favorite football team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. But whenever Mike Wallace left Pittsburgh, I found a new favorite wide receiver, and that was Tavon Austin. And that's the reason now why I wear number 11, because of Tavon Austin.
You remember his big game against OU?
Yeah, I did.
He was a tailback. Are you ever going to play tailback?
We'll see what Coach Ollie have planned.
So what would it mean to you to have a big game in Morgantown, considering you're a big Tavon Austin fan?
It would mean a lot. Anything to help our team, improve to be undefeated in the Big 12. So pretty much whatever it takes, whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do it regardless.
So you enjoyed Austin's performance against OU a few years ago?
Yeah, I
Safe
mean,
to say at the time?
yeah, like who didn't? The guy was awesome.
Mike Stoops.
Yeah, Mike Stoops.
Yeah, he probably didn't.
You should tell him that today.
No. He'll yell at me.